and welcome. This is Ruth, and today I've got the most beautiful Enchanted Dwellings die set collection from Tonic Studios. This has got a whopping 131 dies in here. It's spread over 2 A4 sheets. It opens up and there's instructions and all sorts of things in there. Now it makes a little teapot house, a boot house and a little fairy house. I'm going to read you the sizes off here because I know that I'll forget later on, and lots of you do ask me that at the end. So the approximate finished size of the Timeless Teapot Fairy House, which is this one, is 185 millimeters by 160 millimeters by 120, which is 7.3 inches by 6.3 inches by 4.7 inches. That's this one. So then we've got the Old Boot Fairy House, and that is approximately 160 by 150 by 80 millimeters, which is 6.3 inches by 5.9 inches by 3.1 inches. And then we've got this little house here, and I don't see the size on there, but if it's not on the back then I'll measure it and show you it later. Anyhow, we've got the largest die in this whole collection is 3.9 by 8.2. And I know some of you asked me that as well, just to make sure it fits through whatever die cutting machine that you're using. So there you are, we've got all of these beautiful things. This looks kind of similar to one that Tonic have done in the past, but I'm going to show you the size of this just so that you know before we start. There's the base, and there's the one that we had before. So you can see the scale is totally different. The one that we had before, which was the Enchanted Fairy Village, is a lot bigger than this one. So if you haven't already subscribed, it would mean an awful lot to me and my channel if you would just do that. Some people have been subscribed and then YouTube has actually unsubscribed them, so if you'd like to check that and then also hit the notification bell, that will really help. So I'm making these videos for myself and for you, and I really appreciate your support. So my affiliate links for all of this will be down below in the description of the video, and that's another way that you can help support my channel too. If you're enjoying it as you go through, I would really love you to give a big thumbs up and leaving me a little comment. Anyway, if you don't have time or forget to do any of that, just by watching really helps too. So thank you. Now let's have a look in here. These are the two big A4 sheets here, and you can see there's loads and loads of dies. I don't think I'll go through them in great detail at the minute. Safe to say that there's loads of things in here that you could use for other things as well as just these little houses. Beautiful little borders here and here, up along here. You could use these hexagons for other things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not a hexagon, that's an octagon. And then we've got lovely little things like little heart-shaped windows, and there will be doors and windows and all sorts of things through this. They're absolutely gorgeous. Those are going to look fantastic on cards as well as on this. So without further ado, I think I'm going to do some die cutting and I'll be right back. Having a little look inside here, and we've got the full cutting list, and this will tell you exactly how many pieces you need to cut out at the top here for each one of these little shapes. So we've got the Teapot Fairy House, that's the cutting list and instructions. Then we've got the mushroom shaped fairy house here, and we've got option this is a different one with a middle opening on it, and we've got the old fairy, the boot fairy house here. So beautiful, and the cutting lists are really helpful there. Well, I've decided to go for the teapot first of all, so I have cut out 8 of these shapes, and this is for the base of the teapot, and then I've cut out one of these. I'll probably need another one of these just to cover the glue tabs at the end, but the 8 are sitting here ready to go, and I just want to show you. There's a little decorative panel here that you can put on at the base, and that would come up like this. And normally I would put these on at this stage, but I'm actually not sure which way around I'm going to decorate this, so I've already cut these out. I think I need 7 of them for this because there's going to be little steps on it, but I'll come back later and do that. But if you want to go ahead and put those through your die cutting machine at the same time as you're doing this, that's a good idea too. So I've used Ivory 240 GSM for the base, and then I've used some other card here as well, and I'll show you that and name it as I go along. This then is the little piece that I'm gluing these onto. You need to prepare these just a little bit first of all, so I'll just show you. You can do this over your desk or with a bone folder, but I always think it's better if it's going to be something like this where you want a rounded, a curve, and you don't really want a line in it. Sometimes if you use this, you'll get a little ridge. So that's it. It's really just to give it a little bit of a bend or a curl, and then fold all of these back really, really carefully. You want this to be as straight as possible down here, and that always helps the finished look of the little, well, actually whatever you're making, if you have that as straight as possible. These are glue tabs, the rounded ones, and these are just little pieces that aren't actually glue tabs. They'll sort of hold the thing together and make sure that there's no little gaps showing. So all you need to do now is go ahead and add some glue in here to each of these and pop them right on there, and just make sure that you have them really well lined up. You want to be sure that they're straight, they actually bend over this way, and they line up on the other side as well. That way when you come to finish it and attach everything together, it's going to look really good. Don't just put them on and hope for the best. I'm not suggesting you would do that for a minute. This is the basic sort of shape or net or whatever it is, and you fold that up, glue it together, and then that becomes the base of the teapot. But do think outside the box, because that could be the base for all sorts of different things as well. Anyhow, I have put a second little shape on over here just to tidy that up and to cover the glue tabs and strengthen the base of it. And now all I'm going to do is go back in here. I'll fold one of these backwards and then just put glue on the glue tabs and take my time. Don't rush this. Now, this whole project isn't something that you want to rush. You want to just make sure you get everything cut out nicely. I have done loads and loads of die cutting. There's a mountain of stuff sitting beside me here. So just take your time, work out how many of each thing you need at the one time, and you'll be able to put several things through your die cutting machine all at the one time. This is quite small, the base anyway. It'll be a good size when the whole thing's joined together, but that way, because it's not that big, it doesn't take too long to put these pieces together here. There's not a massive curve on it either. Now, that was easy enough, so all we're going to do is continue right round and join this all up. This shape isn't actually all that big in the first place, it's very easy just to put that top tab in place and let that catch and let the glue grab there, and then pop the other ones into place there. It's actually maybe easier than just starting at the bottom and working up. Look how easy that was. So I'm going to leave this piece aside and then move on to this one, and I've cut 8 of these as well, and it tells you in the instructions here to cut this little tab off, and that's on all of them, so I'm not actually sure why. But anyhow, after that, then you'll fold this, mold this with a pen or whatever, and you can see there I'm doing this on the other side than the opposite side than what I would normally do, because it's going to have a curve this way. This is the good side of the card. The good side, that's what I call it anyway. But then we're going to fold all of these back and just shape that slightly, and there. Not too much, don't fold those right back at the moment, and then you can go ahead and glue all these together, and you can see there why it's important to have the curve going this way this time, because that's going to be a sort of concave shape rather than the convex that we had on the top part. Make sure that bottom one is really well secured first of all, and when that's in place, then you can go ahead and attach the others. So the bottom one, and then move on to the top one like that, and then you can attach the other ones just by putting your finger and thumb one behind and one in front there. And it's kind of looking like a lampshade to me at this stage, so I'm going to carry on and make all of the rest of these. Should have 2 shapes, something like this now, so a lampshade kind of one and a little bowl shape, and you're going to put glue along all of these tabs the whole way around here and fit this directly over the top. So then that becomes one solid piece, and just make sure that you've got enough glue on, and do take your time to hold all of those pieces into position. Don't rush anything at this stage, and make sure they're all really, really well connected, because that's the sort of center part of your teapot. Got the little pieces cut out for the steps here, and I just want to show you them on your die set here. So these are the two sides, that one, and you can do them plain, or you can add this little brick effect in. And then these are the actual steps themselves here, and you'll also have to cut a little bracket, which is this one here, and that will, it's kind of a glue hinge, and all you need to do is take this one first of all and put glue along here, the little glue tab, and add that right onto the top of the steps. So you'll see that there's a little tab down at the bottom, which is a slightly different shape. It's smaller, and it's not that end, it's the top end up here, and add that on there. And then I've actually gone ahead and folded all of these bits and pieces, so I'm going to show you how to do that and make these into little steps. So start at that top end where you've just put the little tab on, and put glue on here, and then you'll fold that over, and that makes your first step. You can do that on the other side as well. I'm just going to do this one side, and then I'll come back and do the other one. So that's your top step, and then here's your second step. You're going to fold that one down in, and just carry on until you have a little set of steps. I've got the little side panels, and I've got the steps, and all I need to do now is attach these on here. So you can see it's really, really simple. You just add that on there, and this curve where I've sort of bent the glue tabs back, that's the part where it gets attached onto the little house, the little teapot. So just put glue on these parts here on both sides, and then you can tuck the little extra tab in at the bottom, and that secures everything. That's this little tab at the end. I am just going to add glue down here now, so you can see this is when it all starts to take shape, and you can see it actually coming together and looking like a teapot, or a little teapot house actually. So glue all along here, down here, and then hold the teapot up like this and just press that onto the front. I had a couple of little gaps in there that I wasn't happy with, so I've just disguised them by adding the foliage along there. The foliage was going to go on there anyway, but just so that you know, mine isn't exactly perfect there, but I'm very, very happy with it. The steps are straight and the little teapot is straight. So if that happens to you, just add the little foliage on and then some flowers and things. Now I've also cut the little door, and I've just put a little bit of silver card back on the back of the window there, and that's going to go on here. There's a little bit of a curve on the bottom of that as the teapot curves in, so I'm just going to put glue on the top part of it, and I'll add a couple of bits of card down at the bottom, just little strips to bring that out a little bit. these then are the spout pieces there and there, and this part here as well, so not the long one but this part here. So I've cut those out in rose pink this time, or candy pink I think it is, and they're really, really beautiful. It's a really, really lovely colour against that ivory. So you can see here I've already gone ahead with the little glue tabs and I've pushed them all back in, folded them over on both the sides of the spout, and now I've already moulded this as well. So I want just to make this flexible so that it sort of bends like a ribbon. And now I can go ahead and just attach this on all of those glue tabs the whole way up round there on the rounded side. You'll find the foliage that fits on there right inside the die for this actual spout. So I've cut those out in the green, and I could have waited to the end because I'm going to do that with the rest of most of this, but I just thought while it was flat on my desk I'd put it on now. Now this is a little back support, that's what it's called in the die set. You'll need to cut that out again and again, just mould that a bit and fold those little glue tabs in, and then attach that by the glue tabs onto each side of the top of the spout here. So there's the spout at the front and there's the sides, and it's going to go in this channel here. And then you can go ahead with these glue tabs and attach those straight onto the little side of the little teapot. I've cut out the handle pieces, and then because it was easy enough to do it just now, I've added these little inserts as well. So the handles are the same colour as the spout, and this piece then matches the teapot. So I've got both of those, and I've carefully folded back all the glue tabs, and then I've taken the long strip as well. See the way there was a small one on the spout, and then the longer one is for the handle. And you can see there I've curled this already, and then I've just started to glue it on. But just remember, this is the top of the handle here, and you want to have that little glue tab up at the top, just like that. And then you can go ahead and glue all the rest of this on right down that curve. And when you've done that, add the other side. I've just noticed that it says in the instructions or the cutting list here that you've only got to cut one back support, but you actually do need two. So just go ahead and cut a second one. So that was the piece that went in here, and with the second one you're going to take your handle, and when you get it to this stage it goes right in there. So I've got it already attached on one side, and you can see here I'm just going to add the glue to the glue tabs here and pop that inside on this side as well, in there. And hold that together until the glue grabs. Oops. Just like that. So this now will have a support in down here, but you'll actually see that the top part of it doesn't have anything up in there at all. It would be very, very awkward to try and get something in there. So we've just got this part, and hold that until that comes together, and then you can go ahead and glue these tabs. Glue on this one here, over there, and then glue these two together here. And then that can go straight onto the teapot. And now it really does look like a teapot. These are the parts that you'll need for the lid. So you'll see there's a tiny, tiny little shape here, a little octagon. And then there are 8 of these that you need to cut. And I've cut the little inserts as well in ivory. And I've gone ahead and I've glued 4 of those already onto the top of that. And that leaves me all the little spaces in between to add the other 4. And I've already burnished back all the fold lines and the score lines the whole way around all of these. So I'll go ahead and just add all these in here. Those pieces are all grabbing onto quite a small area there, so don't be rushing that either. Take your time and let that glue dry properly before you go ahead and add all these panels together. So all you've got to do next then is put glue right down in here on these little bits and glue all of these together. Just work your way right around there doing that. I would do that first of all and then come back and add glue to these tabs, and that will give you the teapot lid shape. That's the lid shape formed now. So I have taken 4 of these pieces here and I've cut them out in green card, and those are sort of like leaves. That's with this dye. And then I've cut 4 in this colour. So you can see what I've done with them here. I've just folded up these sides here, and then I've gone ahead with my little pen again and curl these over. So we've got quite a deep curl going on there, and I'm just gluing them all into the centre of each other like this. And adding that on there. And the ones that are curled down the way then will be the leaves, and the pink one will be on the top, and that will be the flower. And then I can go ahead and glue all of this onto here. And this one then is going to get glued on here, and then I'll make a little sort of knob handle for the top and put it directly in the centre of this one. I've just sort of offset those little bits so that the petals of the flowers are not directly above, they're sort of in between the leaves there. I really love those colours together. Now I've gone ahead while I was waiting for the glue to dry on the side tabs of that, and I've glued these little panels on here the whole way around, and as you saw earlier I just glued these pieces on by the bottoms, so I was able to slip them down in, and then I trimmed 2 off and put them here just to finish that look, because I didn't want sort of some of those to be left without any decoration on them. And now I'm just going to set that on top, really just because I want to look at it while I'm making the little handle part. Now you're going to need 2 of these pieces. I've cut them out in ivory. Just be aware of which colour you're layering on top of the other. You know, if I'd cut that out in the pink the same as that, you wouldn't really have noticed it as much. You need a little bit of contrast if you're going to make this pop a little bit. I have burnished every score line on the 2 of them. I actually think it says in the instructions you need to cut 8, but just make sure it's only 2. And there you are, just glue them directly on top of each other like that. And then all of these little pieces, once that glue is grabbed, all of those little pieces get glued together right down in there. So you're going to end up with this lovely little shape, and then glue all of these tabs together. When all of those ones come together, you can put glue on all of these and pop that right into the center of your flower. That's the little lid on. I'm just going to set it aside now, and I've got lots and lots of bits and pieces that I just want to add together, and I'm just going to show you how I'm layering them. So I've cut out a plain heart, and then the two little dies together made the window, and that'll go on there. That will make that. And then on these ones I've cut this little arched window, and I'm, oopsie daisies, I'm going to glue the curtains on like so, just like that. And then I add a piece of silver, which is the same die on the outside there, and just put that right on the back of that there. And then I've got little shutters cut in there too. And these little shutters have a little glue tab at the sides here. So we'll just fold those back. So you can see here where I'll just put one glue tab in there, and the other one, well, that's the same one, it'll not be that one. The other one in here. And that's my little window with the shutters, and I'm going to glue those on it as well. Now I'll show you these, and then I'll get to just get set to adding lots of detail on. There are some little dies, and they are layering dies that make the flowers and things. So we've got this one first of all, and I've cut that out in green here. Then I have got a little sort of more solid shape. That's this one. And I've cut that out in pink. I'm going to glue the pink one on top here, and then I've got one with the little petal shapes on it, and I've got that in here, and I'm just going to layer those all up. So that goes directly on top this way around here, and it gives you that lovely little shape, and then that can go on top of here, and then I can put that around this part of the handle or anywhere else that I want on here. That's it, all finished, and I'm just going to show you what I did. I added a couple of little stones on top of the steps there, and then I put the little brassware on the front door. I've added two little lights on here, and then these strips of flowers that I had put on here, I think I showed you how I made those, and then I put them on there. I snipped them up, and I've put 3 across each of these little windows here, and then I've added extra ones on here and here, down here, on top of the foliage that I'd already put there and there. And so they're down here and here, and then obviously on the back of that as well. So I've put one up here. They're really, really cute, and they're really, really nice that you can make, I think it's 7 of them in one go, and then snip them up. So I've done all of that, and where else? A little butterfly on here. And then swinging around to the back here, I've got one window with a shutter on there, and the little, I've just put that up again with a little butterfly on top, and then 2 windows up here without the shutters on, and again you can see the little flowers down here. And that's it. Do you know what I find when you get to this stage with one of those? For quite a wee while, when you're just die cutting and there's nothing much to show for it, you think, gosh, this is going to take forever, I'm never going to get this finished. And then all of a sudden it starts to come together, and you think, oh, I'm going to do another bit of this and add another bit of that, and before you know it, you have this beautiful little teapot. One other thing, just as a little reminder, because sometimes you get carried away with just what's on the die set, do remember that you can make yourself just the most beautiful teapot without any of the fairy houses on it. You could just make that teapot really, really beautiful with patterned paper or something like that on it, and it would be equally elegant and really, really beautiful. Now I'm going to make something else. I'm going to make the old boot house next, so I decided on grey, and I hope this looks nice. I will brighten it up with other lighter colours anyhow, but I've taken the pewter grey, and this is 240 GSM. I've cut out this large die here. I hope you can see that. There's lots of dies on there. I'll just lift it off. Anyway, it's the same shape as this. It's this outline one here. And then I've also taken this shape that's the shape of the sole of the foot. I have run this over the edge of my desk just to get a curve in it. You could also do that with a bone folder or just do it with a pen, but you're wanting to get a good curve on that because it's going to go right around here. Now I've also turned in all the little glue tabs there, and if you have a little look here, you'll see, hopefully you can see that, there's a little dot right there. There's also a little dot right there, and this is where you're going to align this, because that is a little hole right through and you can see exactly where it is, and that will line up with that little notch there. So you're going to have to glue that from that point. That's your starting point to line up this little piece here with this little dot here. So I am going to put glue down one side of this first of all, just down the tabs on one side, and then I'll do the other side after that. But we'll start off there at the one with the notch on it, the little marker, and we'll go down one side. So just hold that there for a second or two until the glue grabs on that one, and as soon as that has grabbed, then you can start moulding this around and getting all those little tabs in under this one. Now, that might be difficult to see on camera, so I'm just going to move it there. Just like that. And make sure all of this is pushed right into the edge there, and then you can just go along with your finger or a bone folder or something and press all those little tabs, press that down on top of all the little tabs, and hold on a second or two till that's all grabbed, and then you can go ahead and do the same thing down the other side. So it should look like this underneath now, and then we're going to do the other side. Next, I've made the little front left and right panels here, and I've cut out one each of these. That's in the same dark grey, and then I took lighter grey here, I think that's misty grey, in 216 classic card, and I've just layered one on top of the other like that. And this is the little glue tab here. I haven't actually bent it back because you don't need to. That's going to go right in there. You see there? That little tab will go right in below there. And these pieces will get glue the whole way around here, and that will go right underneath the bottom in the same way as we've done the top part there. So I've curved these as well. I might just give them another little bit of a shape, just like that, to give them an extra curl, because there's two layers now, and these are all folded back, and one will go on one side and one will then go on the other, and they'll join up at the front because one of them has a little glue tab, and they just join up right in the center there. Now that's looking good so far, but you can see there how the top of the boot is wanting to sort of sit outwards and not really stay in. So that's where this little bit comes into play, and this is called the boot support. So you'll cut one of those out and just bend the glue tabs back like that, put some glue on each of the tabs, and then pop that in right where this little seam is. So you'll go in right there, pop a little peg on it just to hold it there, and put some glue on the other tab and bring that right across here. And then you can just hold that in place for a second or two with a peg, or just leave it aside for a little while, but that brings everything back in and keeps it nice and neat and tidy. That's up at the top there, just so that you know it doesn't go down at the bottom, it stays up at the top. Now you're going to take one of these dies, and that will have a little tab on it, but you'll need to cut that off. And this is actually going to sit in here and come up and down. So just remember the way around that you have the sole, because you might have put it the opposite way around. So if that's going to come that way, you'll turn it over, and this little tab here, which is the long one we've made with this, and I've also added a little extra detail onto it with silver. I'm going to pop this on here, just like that, the whole way around there with the glue tabs, just the way I've done with the base of the shoe. That will get glued on the whole way around there. Then when that turns over, you'll see that it matches this, and you can put another piece on over the top of it. Now take your other one of these pieces and put glue on the underside of it and glue it directly over the glue tabs there, and that covers that all up. And just make sure you've got it neat, because this is the top and the outside of the little boot, so it's got to be really, really neat. There you are. And then this little piece here gets glued right onto that. This is the piece then that makes the tongue. It's cut out with this die, and you'll need two of these. So give this a curve. Again, I've got it going this way, and you'll fold over the glue tabs and then this top edge here. Now there are two pieces at the end. One of them has a rounded edge on it, one of them has a straight edge. So fold over that straight edged one, and then down here you're going to start off, I'll start on this side because I've got one here, but right there at that curved edge you're going to glue those things, those little panels, right onto here, so that this piece here ends up aligning with that straight edge, and the curved edge ends up at the curved edge there. Whenever you take the other one and you've got to line that up, it's going to be the underside of that that's showing, but you don't need to worry about that, because those are both going to be glued down inside the little boot eventually, or actually just hopefully in a few minutes. So it should now look like that, and you're going to put glue down this edge and this and this, and that then will get glued right in here. So the front of this part here, that's this part, will get glued onto the back of this support here, and these two pieces get glued along the sides. It's pretty straightforward. Now I've taken this little die and I've actually cut that out 4 times just to make it strong enough for each side to put a little lace. I'm not sure what I'm putting through at the minute, but I have doubled each one of those up. So that's 2 glued together and 2 glued together on the other side. I've given it a little curve, and then that is going right down here. So I'm bringing it out to the edge and gluing it on right there. And you can see then that I've also taken the little toe cap piece, cut it out as well in the light grey, and popped that on there. It's all beginning to take shape. Well, my camera ran out of battery there, so I went a little ahead while it was charging. And this is the other sole die that I already had, and then the heel surround, and I've put this little silver trim on, And you can see that I just started off at the notch there again, in there, and glued that on, making sure that this was the same way up as the actual boot itself. Now I've got the front surround as well, the little curved one, and I've got the silver on that as well, and I'm going to start off exactly in the same spot here, right at that little notch, the little hole or a little mark anyway, there's a little mark there, and I'm going to glue this on. So we'll just set it this way, line it up right there, and bring that in. When that one is attached, then I'll just do the other side of it. Now, if you have a look at this, you'll be able to see exactly where that's going to go. This is the sole and all the pieces that is the heel and the little part at the front there. So we're going to put plenty of glue in this time, right around here, on that edge as well, and on the sole, and then slip that boot right down over the top of it and glue it all together. This is really transforms that shape that we've got right into a boot once you see this heel and all these other bits getting added onto it. Now I will come back whenever I've finished all the rest of it, cut out another one of these shapes and glue it directly over the bottom to cover all those glue tabs. But there's that ready now. Oops, I'll go and put a little bit of extra glue in there and just take this piece here and pop it right down in there. So these are a lot of pieces that I need to make the roof up with, and first of all I've taken this panel, and I'll show you how to do this bit first before we go on to the rest of it. So this panel here, and I've cut that out twice, and on one of them I have set this piece here right into the centre of it, sort of centralised between the areas without the glue tabs, and then I have burnished the glue tabs down. So I've got two of those, and then I've cut out this long piece here, and you can see there's a little fold line in it there, and I'm just going to lay these parts aside and we'll concentrate on this one just for a minute or two. So we've got this piece and this piece, and you want to leave this short area of that straight, and you can go ahead and give a little curve to the other part there, and that part then is going to have glue on all of those glue tabs. There. And then you'll start at the curved edge here on this one and put that right inside there and follow that curve around, and then, yep, you guessed it, when you get to the straight bit, that's the part that we didn't curve. Now I've taken the panel that was the same as this one before the aperture was cut. I've snipped off the two glue tabs, and I'm going to glue that directly over the top of that, and that will cover the aperture on this side. Just make sure you have plenty of glue right round there. It's better to put the glue on this than on the other, because you'll end up getting glue in the wrong place if you do that. You're going to need two of these and two of these, and the way these pieces go together is just by connecting them by these little tabs here. So put glue on both of the tabs like that and bring them together, just slide them together like that, and then you've got your little roof piece. So make sure that that's well grabbed before you try to bend it, because it's actually going to be, that is going to be the peak of the roof, and you don't want to bend that and have it come apart at this stage. So With the two of these, you'll bend back and reinforce all the little score lines. And I've gone ahead and put it on here just to show you. This is the panel that we had already made with the little lip on here, and then the flat piece that I had cut the tabs off here. So I've got the two pieces on here now, and they're just glued. If you can just see the glue tab going down there and the glue tab going down there. And I find it's helpful at this stage if you just pop that on over the top of your little house, your little boot, just like that, and then that will show you exactly what you need to do with this. So these pieces come up, and all you're going to do is attach this one, and I'll put it this way so that you can see it, glue this one onto here, and all these panels, I'll take it off again now so that we actually know how it's going. All of these panels will get glued together right along here. Every glue tab on this side here, so that's here, 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 here and here, will all get attached to this. But that's what it's going to look like at the end. This is in underneath, and that's why I wanted to show you what it looked like on the house, so that you know exactly what we're aiming for. So put glue on all of these and put this on top. Now you can actually go ahead and decorate this before you add these on, but I'm just going to wait to the end. I'm just going to attach all of these together first of all. So there it is, that's the little bit with the little roof. So we've got the lid here, and you've also got this opening compartment here. And I'm going to go ahead now and have fun and die cut lots and lots of pieces to go on here. Some flowers and foliage, little doors and windows and all the rest of it. And I'll come back and show you all that in a moment or two. I've gone a little way ahead then with the roof, and I've used some of this beautiful paper. I really love that, from the Timeless Tidings Christmas pack. And I've just got panels to fit over here, and I've used the large rectangle to go on here. And then there's this beautiful little die here, and I used two of those in cherry red to go along the top of the roof. Now I'm going to put on a little balcony at the front here, so you got to remember that this flat edge is the front. And I've taken this little die and this one, and I've cut this one out in grey and this one out in cherry red. So I have just put the cherry red glue tabs in underneath. I've gone right of the way around the underneath of this, and you can see there, and I've put the little glue tab on the back of this upwards, and that's going to get glued on here, and that's a little balcony. But I've also taken, just to cover those little pieces there underneath, I've cut another one of those little floor pieces, and I've taken the glue tab off. It's probably not even going to be seen, but I'm just going to cover it anyway because I like to keep it tidy. So that's where that's going, and then this gets glued by these glue tabs right onto the front here, so just in the center there, and you've got a lovely little balcony. Now all I want to do here at this point is add the door in. I have taken the door dies. I have cut the red one with the little heart in the back, and I've popped a little piece of silver card in behind that, just so that it looks like you're looking into the doorway. And I've layered those up, and this can then go right in here. Lots of little bits and pieces cut out now, so this is where it gets really exciting and you can start to decorate it all up. You'll need to cut 4 of these to make the little step, and then join the 4 of them together like that and burnish all those little score lines really well. That's going to get folded up like this, and then this little die makes the sides for it. So I've cut out 2 of those, burnished all those little fold lines as well, and I'm just going to glue one of these on here before I fold it up, one on each side. And then I'll fold all of that together, glue all the little tabs, and we'll have our little step. So that just goes on there. Doesn't matter which one you put it onto because these are all going to get attached in the end anyway. And then this one over the other side. And now for the little door, I've taken this die and I've cut that out in plain grey, the light colour, and I've cut these two little doors with the panels and the little glue tabs. I've cut those out in red and I've glued the tabs in behind like that, and the little shutters are coming across the way. So that's a little double door. And then I've taken this, I've used that before on one of my other little houses, and that's going to be this little arch, and I'm going to glue those directly above here. You can see I've already gone ahead and added some decoration on there, but I'll come back and explain that to you in a moment or two. But I just wanted to show you that that's where that goes. Now I've cut some little pieces to put the little sort of dormer window, is that what you would call it, onto the little roof part here. So this and this both make up the little piece that's the sort of frame for it, and I've cut those out here, and I'm just going to glue this together like this. So on this one here, I've all the little glue tabs burnished, folded back and burnished, and that one goes right on there. Keep the glue tab on the inside there, and then it'll all be nice and perfect looking on the outside. But once that's attached, all you need to do is put glue on the rest of those glue tabs and fold that all in, and it sort of forms the little thing itself. It's very, very easy. So just right along all of these. I'll do one side first, and then we'll just follow the same principle with the next one. It's all finished now, and I just need to be really careful because I've put some drops on and I don't want to put my finger in them. See, I've already done it here, but I can fix that in a moment or two. Well, I went ahead then with this little roof part here in the window, and I cut this and this out together in silver, and then I cut two of these little curtains for each window, and I popped them in behind and then glued that directly on. And then these are the little sort of tile effect pieces that go on here and here on the other side. So this is a little bit difficult for me to show you whenever I've got all those little drops and things on, but I'll maybe take the lid off in a second or two and show you. But I popped another one of these little scalloped pieces along here and on the other side. I've added some greenery around the back. These beautiful pieces here along just where the top of the sole gets added on, and the big flowers, they're on here and here as well. And this is some Craft Perfect twine. I don't think it's available at the moment, but it just worked perfectly. The colours were great with that. Just threaded it in through those little lace holes, and I've got the greenery around here, and then I've used the little flowers that I used on the little teapot house as well, and I've glued some of them on here. 3 of them on here as well, and above that little door, and I think that's about it. Some drops, which I'm now going to have to replace. Oh yes, I've got a little window on the other side of it as well there. Isn't that just beautiful? It's lovely. And then you can see, you can lift the lid off and you'll be able to put something in there, and then this opens as well here. It's really, really cute. So well done to whoever designed that, and I think you're really going to enjoy making that too. So now I'm going to set that along with my little teapot house and crack on with the little mushroom house. I've cut out 8 of the pieces here, and you can see they're exactly the same as the base of the little teapot, but these now make the top of the mushroom. And I've actually glued them together and then inked over where the seams are on them, just with a little brush and some Nouveau hybrid ink. And now I've cut out 2 of the large shapes here at the top. So I've cut this shape out and then set this die into the centre of it, and that has removed this piece, and it has given me a kind of a frame piece, and I've got two of those. So I have just glued one in, as you can see, underneath the glue tab there. I'm going to go ahead and just glue this in underneath the whole way around. So just to get that perfectly aligned, all I do is put one in underneath one side, take it right over and do the opposite one. And once that's glued into position, then you can go ahead and glue all these other tabs up onto the top of it. Whenever you've got that first little ring on underneath there, you can go ahead with 8 of these and then glue them all right on top there, and then attach all of these little pieces in behind. Silly me, forgot, and I already had the other ring glued right on top, so I had to pull it off again. That's why I've gone ahead and put these on so that you didn't see the messy bit, because it was quite messy taking it off. But anyway, here's where we are now, and I'm going to glue all of these little tabs, get these all in place, and pegs are absolutely fantastic for holding those just exactly where you need them, just there and there. And then whenever I have the glue dried on those, that's when I'll go ahead with the next little ring and put it over the top, because this then will fit right over there and cover all of that up and strengthen that as well. So don't forget to glue all these little tabs in place too. Now, these are the pieces that would have made the top part of the teapot, and on those I didn't understand at the start why you had to cut these tabs off. I do obviously know why you had to cut them off for the teapot, but I wondered why they were there in the first place, and now I know. These are the pieces that you will use then for the bottom part of the mushroom. So we've got another one of these big octagons, and I'm just going to take all of these. I've already curved them, burnished all the score lines back, and this piece has been folded in. It should now look something like that kind of profile there. And I'm going to put glue on this tab here, pop that right in there, and then I'm going to follow around the whole way with all of the rest of these. This little area right around the bottom has got to sit up sort of at right angles to this, so go ahead and glue all those little tabs in place first, and just leave that until the glue dries before you move on to the curved part, because it's giving you a kind of little rim right around the bottom. And then whenever all of that glue has dried, you can go on to doing the top part. So all you got to do is put the glue on all of these little tabs here, attach the top one, because that's how you know it's going to be perfectly aligned up there. Just make sure that that's level, and as soon as the glue grabs in that, you'll be able to just pop these other ones into place here. And then just continue the whole way around this until you have the little mushroom base made up. So I've gone ahead then and glued the top of this all together, and I just need to come back and put a base on here to cover the glue tabs on the bottom. But you can see here how the lid of this fits down inside the top part like that, and I've done some inking just to make it a little bit more mushroomy. And now I can just go ahead and use all of the little bits and pieces that I've used on the other two houses and decorate this one up. So there's nothing very, very different in this. I'm just going to go ahead and use all those little bits and pieces, and I'll come back very soon and show you what I've done. And there we are. How pretty is that? What a lovely little shape of a mushroom house. So the inking looks really nice in that, but I've added the great big flower up on the top, the same as I have on the lid of the teapot, and I've put some dream drops into the centre, and I'm going to lift this round again. Do you know, I've got dream drops all over the place here, and they're still quite wet, so I'm scared of sticking my finger in them, but you can see here beautiful little heart-shaped windows the whole way around there. Foliage, flowers, everything all just added on there, and it does look so pretty. So the lid lifts off just like this and fits back on like that. Well, I'm almost finished now, and I'm just thinking to myself, if you're enjoying this, I really hope you give me a big thumbs up and leave me a lovely little comment down below. So I have finished the little teapot, and there it is. It's just really, really cute. I've kind of kept my colours coordinating as best I can, but I really love these little elements here, all these beautiful little florals, and they can look very, very pretty on all sorts of things, so they don't necessarily have to just go on these boxes. You can use lots and lots of these elements for other things as well. The little shoe, and I think that one would be beautiful. The little boot would be really, really beautiful with some Christmas decorations around it if you like, and even if you cut this into it here, and you're going to have some light shining through there, and you could put little lights inside that as well. It's really, really beautiful. And that one opens in two places. Then it's got the lid that comes off here, and you could put ribbon or all sorts of things instead of that twine that I've put on there, but that is so, so beautiful. Last but not least, I've got my little mushroom house, and I'm sort of rushing ahead here trying to get the video finished because I need to post these samples off, and I want to be sure that everything's right just before I pop them in a box. So well, my crystal drops, my dream drops aren't really dry yet, but isn't that really lovely? And do you like the inking on that, or would you have preferred it kept that sort of cleaner look like the others? Anyhow, you can let me know down in the comments below. And if you have any other ideas for decorating this, don't forget to let me know down there too, because I always like to hear what you're thinking as well. Now, my affiliate links for everything I've used will be down below in the description of the video. I have made these videos purely for you and me, and so I do appreciate the fact that you're watching. It helps my channel along if you do subscribe and hit that notification bell, if you give it a like and a thumbs up, and it really helps me along if you use my affiliate links as well, because subscribing to my channel doesn't cost you anything. My affiliate links still only cost you the same price as you would normally buy on the website. So if you just click the link that I have down below, that supports me, it gives me a little commission, but it doesn't cost you anything extra, and I really, really appreciate that. And that means then that I can come back and keep giving you more content, because these videos, especially this one, take ages to make. But thank you so, so much for watching anyhow, and until next time, happy crafting. Now don't forget, don't go anywhere just yet, because there's going to be lots and lots of photos at the end. Thank you. Bye bye.